Good afternoon, guys. So when I got to know that I'm supposed to be speaking here, I had this amazingly overconfident pitch, kind of an introduction prepared. So for most of you who don't know me, what if I told you that I have something in common with Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Michael Jackson, Sachin Tendulkar, Shah Rukh Khan, just name anyone, Mark, Bill, Katie, anyone, and I have something in common with each one of them. Now, unfortunately, it's not the money they have. But it's the fact that we've all been out on this trip, which is one of the most amazing trips that we've ever taken. It's an incredible journey, although absolutely unique, but it's a journey which actually makes you feel like you're on a trip of a lifetime. And right now, I'm here to take you guys on a trip of a lifetime. So I'll be like your tour guide, travel operator kind of a person, and I will take you on a trip of a lifetime. So let us all assume that we all have a journey, right? Each one of you are in some kind of a journey. You all are going somewhere in life. But what the fact is that most of us are going in a trip or in a direction which has been imposed by a lot of external factors. So a lot of people tell us where to go, what to do, what not to do. This place looks fine, I think you should go there. So a lot of factors actually define where we're actually going. So our journey is not entirely defined by us. For instance, if I had to say that one of you had to go to Barcelona, 9.5 out of 10 people would tell you, so you need to obviously fly down to the El Prat airport, from any international airport in India. Obviously you need to have a passport, a visa, and they'll check you at the immigration. 9.5 out of 10 people. No one's going to possibly tell you that you can also drive there from India. So the idea is, while chasing a destination, we always have retraced a journey and retraced a path which most of us end up following. And we miss out the road which we would have possibly taken if we did not have a guideline, if we did not have a destination that we knew how to get there. And that is the road less traveled. And a road trip on that road is where the most epic and legendary stories evolve. So let us all assume that we've come from somewhere, right? And we're going to go back to the same place. I mean, birth and death are natural facts. I've not really been there yet, so I don't really know what belongs there. So let us just talk about everything in between. Actually, my mom used to, for the longest of time, tell me that I've been picked up from a park because they heard me crying next to a swing. Until obviously I had biology as a subject in my class and had understood where I actually came from. But honestly, between where we come and where we go, we have a 4-letter word called life, which is equal to a 4-letter word called trip. And which one of you out here wants to go on a bad trip or looks forward to a bad trip, whether it's a business trip or a vacation or a holiday or a romantic trip? Any one of you look forward to a bad trip, or you look for? No, you don't look for. Great. So none of us look forward to a bad trip. So why not make life the best trip ever? Why not make it the trip of a lifetime? Am I convincing enough? Alright, I'm just trying to be the trip advisor here. So let's just take this trip of a lifetime, and I'll tell you a little bit about my trip to convince you why we should do this. So my trip began in 1985, and one thing that I know of trips is that it's about constantly encountering changes. You would possibly experience change once in a year, or maybe you'll be surprised with changes once in a month. You'll probably be shocked with changes once every hour. And what you eventually need to do is be prepared for change every moment. But can you really prepare for change? You can't. You can't really prepare for change. So what you need to do is acceptance. This preparation is actually acceptance and adapting to it. Now, I come from a family, like most of you do, and mine was a very academic one in nature. My father's from the IIT, my mother's been pursuing a PhD at the age of 52, and she's been a teacher since birth, my birth. And a brother who's a financial analyst and a risk manager, and his special skills are to be managing all the risks that I was going to take. I'll quickly show you what my family kind of looks like when we go out on a slight picnic kind of a thing. It looks like this. So there's a cliff, And we've all gone out to see this view and this perfect sunset. And we have this one person in every family who's staying away from the edge of the cliff because he does not want to take any risks, which is great, which is absolutely fine. They're the more practical ones, the most sorted out ones, and they know what they want in life, which in my case was my father. Then we have a lady standing a little ahead of that. You know, these are the ones who tend to get a little emotional or carried away sometimes, but they have this immense capacity of bouncing back to hardcore practicality. Obviously because they've been living with the person standing behind them for so many years. That in my case is my mother. The third one is not me. Is a sibling, in my case, is the one who's actually experiencing a little transition between the generation prior to him or her and the generation coming next. So he has the guts to stand on the edge like I am standing on the edge of the circle right now. I better be back. That's me. Jumping off the cliff. Just like a monkey does, right? They just jump from one place to the other. So just like a monkey, I have taken the leap and I have jumped off. But if I did not do that, if I did not take that leap, my life would possibly not look like this. I would not get to jump in the middle of the ocean. I would not be able to dance with the Maasai or walk to the top of the world. I would not be able to run with ostriches or click selfies with lions. Be the only one boating at Dal Lake because the whole city was in a state of curfew. I would not be able to save someone's life because he experienced a hit and run case. I would not be able to raise the voice of farmers facing a problem with their wages. I will not be able to fight for the women fighting for their right of education. I will not be able to go to the boundaries of Somalia to shoot a terrorist killing somebody. I will not be able to learn how to fly and see the world from a bird's eye. Yes, I will not be able to do all of this if I did not jump off that day from that cliff. I did that because I wanted to go to all extremes to cover stories, and that's exactly what I do for a life, and at least for now for a living. And I look quite happy doing that. So now let me at least be believing the fact that you guys have been convinced of my travel making or tripping skills. I can at least sell you a travel package by the end of this conversation. So let me just quickly tell you the first point in your checklist when you go or head out on any trip. The first point is go where you want to. Now most of us end up going where we don't want to. And that is quite evident with all the facts and all the studies that have been done over the years. What you need to do is really go where you want to and not somewhere you've been told to go to. Now all of a sudden if you pick up the phone and call up a travel agent and say, listen, I want to go to Calcutta, and he says, don't go to Calcutta, sir, go to Tamil Nadu. You'd obviously not believe him, right? You'd obviously want to continue planning your trip to Calcutta. Now the thing with life is that we live in a society full of standards, expectations, systems, formats, rules, guidelines, previous success stories. So we tend to believe that is absolutely the only way to go about things. So we end up choosing paths of going in only that direction. Society and all these systems are like those bad travel agents who are going to put you into a bad trip, not give you all that they've promised to give you, and eventually you'll realize that shit, I've made a mistake. I've come all this way just to realize what a mess I've made of myself. Now what is this ultimate goal that we're all chasing? We are chasing the goal of being happy. The fact is that 99%, actually 99.99% of the people in this world want to be happy. And because of that goal that we have, we set subsequent goals. So some set the fact that, listen, I want to do very well in life, I want to have a great wife, I want to be marrying someone, I want to be falling in love, I want to be doing something, I want to have a great job, I want to be this, I want to be that. We all set these subsequent goals based on the fact that we want to be happy. Although there are a zillion other ways of being happy, but unfortunately only when you're between the age of 0 to 5. You'd possibly, pull someone's hair and be happy. You'll just go and sleep on the floor and you'll be happy. You'll get mama's milk and you'll be happy. I knew a kid who used to just fall down and stand up and go, ha, 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 used to be happy. But we don't, right? We start growing up and we start building this framework in between us. So the next time we fall, when we are grown up, we are embarrassed. We want to run away. We're even shy of our own parents. The same mother whose milk you had when you were growing up and you were 1 or less. We have built an expectation that has been built by society for us. So we end up taking a route, a path, a journey which has actually been inculcated or told or structured for us. And that is the first mistake we make. Now, for instance, most of the people, obviously between the age of 17 to 50, most of them, not all, want to do a job because they want to do something good in life, and they do it. And they end up in a job and they have all the frameworks ready because someone's told them to need a job, you need a good CV. To get a good CV, you need to have the grades. To have the good grades, you need to go to a good B school or a good school, study hard. So we tend to believe that it's absolutely right, and we do that. And then we realize that almost 48% people are not happy in their jobs. A higher number believe that they are in wrong jobs. So it's kind of the fact that they believe that they've probably taken the wrong route or the wrong journey. Some of them end up in depression. Some of them go to a shrink. And guess what the shrink says? I think you should do what you like. I think you should go where you want to go. So why take this whole route of spending 15, 20, 25 years in some cases to figure this out? So go where you want to go. The second most important thing is my favorite. Enjoy the roadblocks. When you enjoy the roadblocks, which in life means failures, you begin to adapt to change. Now, I love failures. I've seen them so many times, it almost felt like I'm having a relationship with failures. We see each other quite often. You know, we meet each other, we go out on coffee dates, and we come back. I've seen failures so many times. But that doesn't stop anything. Failures are just an unwell, weak side of success. I did not succeed. Failure, if you make it a good friend of yours and you're loyal to failure and you open up to failure, failure possibly could tell you back to just strike off the knot. And it will become, I will succeed. Or I did succeed. I did not win. Together, failure and you can just strike off the knot and say, I did win. Now, with my real life experience, I've had so many failures that each and every failure of my life potentially just taught me where I'm supposed to be and where I'm supposed to go. When an outfit doesn't look good on you, you change it. That doesn't mean you take it off and walk naked on the streets. You don't do that. You change it, wear something that looks good on you, wear something that you're comfortable in. So failure is just a weak side of success. It's like the roadblock in this trip. No travel agent is going to tell you, so when you go there, the hotel is going to have the AC leaking. They're not going to warn you. So the second point in your checklist, be prepared for roadblocks. And the third and the last thing is, if I would tell you that you can earn out of your trips, you definitely can. If Steve Jobs had to make his CV, unfortunately, there would not be too much in the educational section because he dropped out. But there would be an immense amount of experience section because he had a bunch of them. He traveled to India for a recreational trip on LSD, which he thought was very important for him. And nobody told him that you can only be the founder of Apple if you do these things. So he followed his route and he did what he wanted to do. He exactly went on the direction where he wanted to go. One fine day, after doing all the films around 11 countries, 65 cities, I traveled all around the world. I was capturing so many things. In between, I was documenting very interesting weddings and a lot of interesting stories. And I had made up a decent amount of money. But all the money went over with the first 3 checks of my new checkbook that I had got. I had paid up for new machines, I had paid up for the new software, and I had paid up for a new team. And I really wanted to buy a drone for myself. And I went back to my studio, and ironically, the same very day, I had this hard drive lying on my desk, which said my bank. Now, not always will you end up making a lot of money. But if you live a good life, and you take this trip of a lifetime in a direction where you want to go, facing all the roadblocks, taking up all the challenges, meeting them, enjoying them, learning from them, communicating with them, opening up to them, you'd be making a lot of memories. So the bank that I had at that point in time was based out of over 1,000 stories of 1,000 people, some of which are being aired in multiple televisions and I know will be aired for generations to come. So the idea is not just to make money or chase goals or chase objectives, but also to live an amazing trip, an amazing journey in an amazing way, collecting a lot of memories because they are timeless. So what you need to do is constantly adapt to change because the universe is going to be changing every single moment. And when you let go of your inhibitions and your fears, and while the universe is also constantly changing, both of you meet at an equilibrium. You meet at an equilibrium, and that is where a good story begins. That is where the trip of a lifetime begins to formulate. My idea also tells you not to just chase destinations or spend all your life chasing goals. Instead, live the journey every single day, chasing happiness, chasing somewhere you really want to go. It's okay if you make a mistake. If you lose a turn on this journey, it's fine. Now the thing with other trips that you take is you can possibly have a bad trip and make another trip, just go online and book another trip. But with this trip, you can just take wrong turns, but can't make a wrong trip of a lifetime because it's happening only once. So the idea is to keep carrying on in a direction that you want to go, face the roadblocks, face the failures, adapt to change. You can have an affair with failures like I did, and eventually collect all your experiences, all the good things you've done. If you've mentored somebody, that needs to be on your CV. If you've done something good, that needs to be on your CV. Have another CV, which if no one else wants to read, you can, or your best friend can, or your family can, or your children can. So my idea is that I don't know where I'm going, but I'm happy in wherever I'm going. I am facing failures and I'm expecting failures every single day, and I'm okay with it. And I'll be really happy if I meet you where we are going, where we came from, and sit over a cup of tea or whatever they serve there and discuss each other's trips, our trips of our lifetimes. Thank you.